Welcome to a new spirit that will warm your heart. Welcome to a new spirit. Every day's a brand new start. Where encouraging words can heal your soul and dreams will be renewed. Welcome to a new spirit, a new spirit in you.
Is ADHD a conspiracy theory? Welcome to the New Spirit Radio Show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Today's date, well, I wrote it as October 9 of 2022, so I hope you all agree. Coming to you live from California, both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and MIT Catherine Taylor, playing audio segments we call Messages from Spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question, why are we here and what is our purpose?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car, where one driver gets out and another driver gets in. This allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Rahim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, MIT Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley. Hey,
hello! How is it going?
Doing good. We're here.
Fantastic.
I missed my afternoon siesta, and I'm like 20 minutes before I said, okay, I got to get up, and something jumped in me, and so I'm up and going. So anyway, well, yeah, we're here. I'm here. How about you?
Today's my birthday, actually. And so
woo!
I'm so excited.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I always think of what Sylvia would say about how people, if they pass away, it tends to be like people tend to pass away like right before their birthday. And so she would get to her birthday and be like, I made it.
Yeah.
So
are you passing away anytime soon?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, got stuff to do.
But yes.
Oh, man.
You got by the birthday and another one's gone by. Good.
Yeah.
Fun.
Thank you so much for all the sweet birthday wishes that I'm seeing over in chat. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm so happy that we're here on Wednesday. Like, this is a wonderful birthday present. Just being here with other Gnostics, talking about really, really cool things, listening to Francine, and sharing it all together. So it's perfect.
All right. For those of you that are new, let me read off a quick outline, because yes, we do have an agenda, and it's not hidden. We're kind of open about that. So we love to start out about sharing how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy in the last, well, for us now, 2 weeks. But and for everyone that's listening, by all means, share in the comments. We're happy to share because that helps all of us learn lessons as well. Next, we'll get into a little bit of announcements. Let's see. Then we have special prayers and a moment of silence. Then we share the trance segments where we get some education. You're welcome to participate in the meditation that follows. And I talk about some closing notes. Oh, and watch and listen for the novena. It's a special prayer request ceremony that we present. Then I follow with talking about some appreciation, and we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. So welcome, hang out, and I have a starred note here. It says something. It's called Light a Candle. I posted the Sunday service and I lit the candle and it went out.
Oh no.
So anyway, I got a new candle. There we go.
Cool.
The camera doesn't like that too much, but anyway, there's a lit thingy there. So we've got
Wonderful.
our wonderful sharing. How did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy last week? Well, who do you want to go first, or do you want to ask me, or do you want to Rochambeau?
Sure, I'll go first. Why not?
Okay.
Why not? So let's see here. Since our last episode, we had Halloween. So happy Halloween to everybody. I hope you had a fun time.
Yeah.
So we got no trick-or-treaters, but that's fine.
Because you have more candy.
Right. I don't eat candy.
Like you need it all, yeah.
Yeah. I'll get yelled at by Chris if I eat too naughty. So anyway, that's fine. It's fine. So but I did get to have some really nice time with friends, and so over that Halloween weekend, I was having numerous conversations about ghosts, because people are like, oh, like ghosts, and making zombie jokes and things like that. And one of my friends is like really into this idea of like Wendigos and being afraid of I'm like, I don't even know I've never even heard of that. But anyway, so I've got Sylvia's phenomenon book here.
Yeah.
And I took the opportunity to talk about how much I love going to hauntings, and like the 2 times where I know that I was able to help the process of helping somebody cross over, because when I went to the Queen Mary with our Gnostic friend Chris Rodriguez, who's just fantastic person. I love you, boo. Anyway, but he and I both felt this zip feeling when we both felt somebody cross over after, like, we were trying to just talk to the air, but like, hey, you should ask God, just show you the tunnel, and just, it was amazing experience.
Yeah.
And so because I just thought it was funny, because Halloween is a time where people talk so much about paranormal things, and so I'm like, all right, I just jumped right in. I was like, yeah, it is really cool. I'm not afraid of ghosts at all. And everyone else is like, so it was just really funny, but it was a nice opportunity to talk about God to people who I know are not, who don't think about God very often, but are really into like paranormal things and things that spook them out. So that was, so yeah. Anyway, so I had a blast. And it was interesting, like sliding in the saying like, yeah, if you have a haunted house, you just need to tell them to go to God. And people were looking at me like, oh, didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's really cool. And then I wanted to read what Sylvia has written about zombies, just because zombies are super, super, super popular. So
yeah,
this is short. So what Sylvia says about zombies in her book, Phenomenon. Zombies are mythical, undead beings whose bodies walk around robotically among the living as if they're still one of them, no one realizing until it's too late that their souls and minds and consciousness no longer exist. In truth, there have been many drugs through many centuries whose effects simulated blank, catatonic states and slowed the body's natural functions so dramatically that they sometimes appeared to have stopped breathing. As with such other myths as werewolves and vampires, there have been too many disease and drug-induced tragedies associated with the zombie legend to consider it harmless, such as people being buried alive, severe brain damage, the autistic misinterpreted, and either shunned or stoned, etc. So enjoy the fiction of zombies if it appeals to you. But leave it at that, and for God's sake, literally don't let it enter your mind that it might be real or worth simulating or worth perpetuating.
Cool.
That's Sylvia on the topic of zombies. So happy Halloween, everybody. Fun
Did-
stuff.
Cool. That's fun. That's a nice treat. Are you going to do something special for your birthday? Or what
I
are
don't
you going
know.
to do? Maybe that's the
I
right
think-
way to ask it.
I think my husband and I are going to go on Friday to go see the new Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So super excited about that. And
That's supposed to be a big drama and lots of action and
yeah.
fun. Yeah, big epic movie. Cool.
Yeah. Excited about that. So,
Well,
and
let's
if there's
see.
anything else, we'll see. But yes, please, what did you use of Novus philosophy? And
Well,
if anyone is like listening, I would love to hear your stories as well. What did you use of Novus philosophy over the last couple of weeks?
make notes because I
Yes.
didn't write anything. That's what half mine is like I'm here. That's my. What did I use of Novus
I love it.
philosophy? Well, I
Love it.
Well, no, I'll take that back. I just dawned on me. I'll use my experience today. So my significant other asked me to go for a ride this morning, and I'm like, oh, I got things to do, and okay, let's go. We'll go for a ride. I helped her look up some documentation. We went to an office in San Jose. We went looking for some material, and we were told, no, we can't do it here. You got to go to San Francisco. So we're like,
Oh, darn.
and as we're driving by, looking for, that's what it was. We were driving by looking for lunch. We were going to El Pollo Loco. Yeah. And I picked one over another one in San Jose, and I was like, okay, so we go. And as we're driving, I'm like, wait a minute. We're driving by the, what do you call it? I don't want to say the graveyard. What's another fun term, politer term for the graveyard?
Cemetery?
Thank you, cemetery. Driving by the cemetery, and I go, I know this place. I'm in the wrong place. I'm driving by, and I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this was further south, but now I recognize where I was, and it turned out we were at the cemetery where Sylvia is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Rosie said, well, let's go see her after lunch. And I'm like, okay, I guess. So anyway, that's what we did for fun this afternoon. We had lunch, had a fun lunch, and then she got inspired, and we found a place to get some flowers, and then wandered our way up there. So we kind of hung out up there for a little bit. So that was our...
oh, that's terribly sweet.
Yeah. So I'm well. Anyway, I'm not as how do you say? It was her idea for the flowers and going to see her up there, and I was like, okay, let's go, let's go. So, but it was fun. It was nice to see what was up there, and somebody's been leaving flowers up there besides us.
Oh.
There's a little canister thing that hangs on the side for people to put in there. So that was fun. And I wanted to point out that I voted.
Fantastic.
Yeah, obviously yesterday,
Fantastic.
but yes, I wanted to point out that, and I was a little disappointed about not having a show last week because I wanted to point out, go vote. But hey, now we're past and beyond. I gotta wait till next year. So I trust that everybody else got out and voted as best you could last or in whatever form or fashion that you were able to do. So that was my 2 tidbits, and yes, and I anyway, I won't spoil any more of that. Let's see. So we lit a candle. Any comments? Anybody's sharing what they did for? No?
Let's see here.
What are you trying to read?
Just lots of comments. I'm so sorry. Linda shares that she surrounded myself and other people with the beautiful white light and showing gratitude and being kind to everyone. That's very spiritual. It's wonderful. Naomi shares, I protect the inside and outside of each of my family members' vehicles with visualization of white light and prayer for safety. That is
Cool.
Excellent thing to do. Excellent thing to do. So many nice birthday wishes. Gosh,
right.
Thanks, you guys. That's so sweet. I'm just sending tons of love right back at you. And Leslie commented saying, I thought Sylvia's kids were supposed to throw her over the back fence.
Yes, that was her. Well, there were several things along those lines that, yes, that was one of her requests. And the other was,
so morbid.
I don't know, and it's not how do you say, it's not a judgment, it's not the other thing that she did want done and wasn't done was to have her brain what is it, weighed,
like donated. Weighed.
Not weighed, not donated, but weighed, to see if there was something different or unique about her brain versus most other people.
Interesting.
Because of her ability.
Yeah.
And I would tend to think her because of my understanding, our connection, our spiritual connection to the physical brain is the either the pituitary or the pineal or pituitary glands, one of them two, and which it's I would suspect, or I don't, because I don't recall the discussion in trance about her specifically, Sylvia specifically, but that's the connection. I would expect that to be kind of like enhanced or larger or something that helped, that would help with her ability.
Yeah, I remember Francine making comments that there were things about her brain that were physiologically different compared to most people. Remember her one of the comments that she made was that Sylvia's brain was able to tolerate a higher salt solution, and that other people, like if they were to take like the concentration, like how concentrated the salt was in her brain, and like take that solution and put it for somebody else, it would kill them.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. Gosh.
Maybe that's why she liked chili cheese dogs.
Maybe.
The salt content.
Girl.
Chili cheese dog.
Oh man. I miss her.
And I sort of an add-on note to my what did I use of Gnostic philosophy?
Yeah.
I was like, because when we were going to look at flowers to pick up, I'm like, I don't want to get, I don't want to be this elaborate. I don't want to. Well, Rosie was like, I just let her go and do what she wanted to do. But I was like willy-nilly about making a big expense out of all this. But she got some nice flowers, and she's like, I was thinking, because they had a mix of roses and some other flowers, and one of these days I'll share the pictures.
Please do, yeah.
I couldn't think of the name of the rose. Sylvia has a favorite rose. And it took me a while, and I'm like, what is it? And then I started thumbing on the internet on my phone about, what give me some names of purple roses. And just as I was about ready to finish typing, the word came, silver dollar rose.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm told her favorite rose is, and it's about the color.
So you got some infusion on that. That's so cool.
And
I'm gonna have to look that up.
We're not going to get those at the grocery store. We're not going to find those. It's like, as I was thumbing through and looking at examples, they show pictures and examples, and of course people have posted or advertised what, selling them. I'm like, there's this like large round container holding like a I don't know if it was a dozen or whatever, but it was like $150. I'm like,
wow.
They're not cheap, but they're really nice looking.
Cool.
And that's why I was joking about with Rosie about, we're not going to find those here in the store.
That's funny.
Those I think you got a special order. Anyway, any other?
Yes. Sherry shares, when I place a call, I I usually pray to my spirit guide and archetypes to have the person that I speak with be kind and give me the information that I need right away, and it works. That is really smart. Kind of reminds me, I've been, for some of our public figures over the past month who have been maybe not saying the most stable and sane and kind things, I've been praying for them to just also have purple light and kindness and just hoping for the best too. So that's really smart to do that with folks that you're talking to on the phone. Kristen shares that she's been cloaking myself in light before going out. That's beautiful. And don't you just love Sylvia's humor? One of a kind humor. Addie says hello, nice to have you. And then, and Kristen, with our conversation about Sylvia's mind, Kristen was saying that Sylvia could function on so very little sleep as well. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. It's the way I recall it, it's all about being on vacation. think of the effort you put in when you know you're going on vacation. And it's making a choice in that, jumping in and going to get stuff done. And it takes practice when you've spent a long time like dreading things or, dreading doing things in the challenge. But it's a practice of, getting in, jumping in and getting stuff to start stuff and, keep moving forward. I want to see if I don't know if this is going to work or not, but let me see how well this shows up.
Oh, yeah. What city is that in?
San Jose.
San Jose.
I don't know if there's any other better. I took a whole bunch of pictures because I was like having a hard time standing. And fortunately, there was a cloud behind me because otherwise my shadow would have been right in there because the sun was at my back. Nope. I guess not. Thought there maybe was another. Okay, what happened there? Any other fun comments? Or?
Yes. Erin shares she's been helping put white and purple bubble wherever she goes out for protection, just in case. Very smart. And it helps keep us out of 3 accidents one day that could have happened. Oh my goodness. I'm glad that you are safe and well. Good grief.
Here, I
can see it.
So, if she's right there,
okay,
that's the spot right there where she's at. But this is the area where, area where she is. And yes, the picture looks better if I was to share the picture itself on here instead of on my phone. But I haven't got
Well, I'm glad that you shared it.
I haven't got it anywhere to... anyway, one of these days, we'll work it into. Cool. All right, what are we supposed to do next? I talk about...
Announcements and special prayers?
Okay, I can do that.
All right, cool.
As soon as I get myself back in some kind of order here. There we go. Where did I hide them? I hid them somewhere. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yes, we do encourage. Please share, promote, like, subscribe. Click on the bell so you get notified when we are here. And, of course, we appreciate your donations and send those in as best you can. Help keep this moving forward. Let's see. Oh, you know what? What I can't remember is if I brought this up 2 weeks ago. What first anniversary was was be October 27th? No, it's what was the first anniversary. What happened on October 27th of 2022?
October 27th of 2022.
2022. Yeah, what's the first anniversary for that happened October 27th of 2022?
I'm not sure.
That's the Novus New Spirit Radio Live on Facebook and YouTube, our first show.
Do you mean 2021?
Sorry, for 2022, it's the first anniversary.
Oh, oh, gosh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm clear. First anniversary. Nice.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait a minute. How do we... I got a little turned around in the dates and times, and I know that's what it says on our all of our stuff that we've done. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So cool. Yeah, happy anniversary.
Got it rolled out. Happy anniversary.
Let's see. And we've talked enough. Hey, we jumped off of YouTube for some reason. Oh, well, now we're back. Let's see. Okay, that's all I got. If people care about the pillow on the introduction, we'll talk about it later. And you can write it in the comments, and we'll have a discussion at some point. So next on our agenda is usually we're supposed to be doing special prayers. Thank you for reminding me. For those of you that have a special need, I encourage you to visualize what the greatest the outcome is and ask for the greatest good. And for those, we're putting energy out for both people that have put things on our website in the prayer chain, as well as just, if you're here, it doesn't matter when you're listening, we are going to put that energy out for everybody in need. And yes, it's pretty easy to find something to think about or visualize that needs help and could use some prayer. So we're going to ask the guides and archangels, the archetypes, and Mother God to get out and we already voted. We don't have to ask to get out to vote. We'll say get out and put some healing energy or help for those that are in need. So let's take a moment of silence and Amen.
Amen.
And of course, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. Let's see. New Spirit Radio is okay. Yeah, we're doing that. We're sharing and promoting Society of Novus Spiritus philosophy. If you are on the conference call, we'll appreciate your listening in. That's great that you get to be there. If you are streaming challenged and you want to find a place to listen live, and just listen to the audio, yes, we have a phone number that you can call in on. It's 888-534-2696. So you can listen live on a phone, whether if you're again streaming challenged. That's available. Do appreciate that you do keep muted so that everybody has a wonderful session. Now we can do trance segments.
All right. So well, I get notes pulled up here. So we're continuing. So at our first session, we are continuing with Francine from last time. So continuing about why not to chase people who don't want you. Okay. The women carry morphic resonance from biblical times to be subservient. No group of people have ever been persecuted worse than women have been during the Inquisition. Yikes. Okay. This will be fascinating to listen to.
All right. Take
Okay.
notes. Some history. Here we go.
It's almost as if the ego takes a wrong turn. Why wouldn't they want me? I'm so marvelous. You may be, but not for them. And I think what we keep doing is one of Sylvia's favorite poems. Is there anybody there? Said the listener as they pounded on the door. Don't keep going through your life pounding on doors. Especially, but let me enter one more time and you will like me. And let me enter one more time and you will love me. No, go pound on another door. You put yourself in a rejection position. You put the person in a position in which they always have to tell you no. And unfortunately, and I hate to say this, as Sylvia and I have talked many times about this, and you know how much of a liberated female I am, even more than Sylvia, which used to have problems with me because she grew up in a very submissive Catholic environment, although she's gotten much stronger, she's gotten older, is that for God's sake, we women are at most fault of this. And that's not our fault. It's because of the biblical texts that made women subservient to men, and we're carrying that morphic resonance with us. We are supposed to be subservient. We are supposed to be seen and not heard as children. We're not supposed to have any ideas. We're not supposed to have any thrust forward. We're supposed to get old and inept. And even when we're young, we're supposed to produce babies and be quiet. And this, of course, is wrong. But women carry this over from the time of the suffragettes to beyond into the very realms of eternity. Now, that's not exactly true either, because in early societies, women were revered. And you see, this also has religious connotations with killing the mother god. If you kill the mother god, you have nothing to represent the female species or the race of females that are by far dominant in most all cultures. Yes, Kim?
I was just going to say, when I was studying about the witch burnings, where 9 million women were killed in a 300-year period between 1400 and 1700, if there's 9 million women that were killed, tortured, burned for not being witches, just for being healers and midwives, I contended that obviously the self-esteem of women at that time had to be zero.
Not only that, you're absolutely right, but the fear factor.
Right.
Not only that, but not only were the women that were the alchemists and the healers and the Wiccas were, but anyone could point at, let's say, Kathleen, just by someone pointing, and she'd be carried off, and if, she floated if she was a witch, and if she drowned, she was okay, which she had no wind. It was, and not only that, but not to be gross, but even the sexual tortures that went on were just atrocities. And that's a very hidden part of society. Now, we all know the Dachau atrocities, but no group of people were ever slaughtered. No group of people in as many numbers were slaughtered as much as the women were. Not in any country, not in any war, any more than women were persecuted during the, like you say, the reign of the Inquisition that lasted for about 350 years. And all it had to be was a Dolphine, a church official they called, and rabidly they killed these people.
My contention was that that's one of the reasons why women have inherently, it seems, low self-esteem. You watch 6 generations of children watch their mothers being tortured, and they were hunted down like animals. It also gave me the idea, no wonder I was afraid of being psychic, no wonder I was afraid of gathering groups. And this is across the board. So it could be another reason why Gnostics have a hard time sticking together, because again, that morphic resonance of your inner group.
That's right, and they were tortured and killed. This is the only century in which they will not be. Although what's happened with the Gnostics now is they're afraid to profess themselves, so they're torturing themselves, so they don't need to have. So, which is almost a self-fulfilled prophecy. And we find this in women and men. If you won't torture me, I will find a way to torture myself, because that's what I'm used to.
Right.
And that's because the morphic resonance rises up and torture becomes a familiar. Pain becomes a familiar. Illness becomes a familiar. It also serves many purposes. If I'm ill or I'm tortured or I'm a victim, then I don't have to perform in a certain way. It's a very definite fail-safe position for many people. Yes.
Francine, to address then ourselves on an individual basis under hypnosis, I would imagine it could be a very good tool to cover, if you want to cover the spirituality aspect, the physical aspect, the emotional aspect. Are there words that we want to say that could bring this about?
Yes. If in your hypnosis therapy now, what I would do is I would say, if there is any cell memory that's carried over that's not only disturbing the physiological body, but also anything that is disturbing or blocking or not allowing your full spiritual self to come out, as far as even your interplay with the opposite sex, your interrelationship with your own sex, your interrelationship with your job or performance, your eating habits. Anything that you want to insert would not be against, because you see, you could take in every facet from the emotional to the spiritual to the social, but say it specifically like that. Any blanket command, in other words, anything that might have, and then direct them, say, and I'd take each one singularly. I'd say, now, as far as your social interaction with people, is there anything that is in your past life that might have curbed your social interaction? If you have stage fright, was there any place that this might have started? You will immediately get a person. I was up in front of a group of people and they stoned me to death. I was trying to give a talk and they stoned me to death. Naturally, this person's going to have stage fright. They don't know why. They can't figure it out. Then go to and say, now, as far as your romantic relationships are concerned, if there's any suspicions, paranoia, victimization, then let's release it. Go to the place in which it started. See, that's where we're seeing so many battered women, again, going back to Kim's premise. Not just from the witchcraft, but certainly that's been the plague descended upon women, even in biblical times. Naturally, then, women would be more apt to stay in these terribly abusive relationships, not only verbally, but physically, because this is all they've known. So go back, you say to this woman that's in a physical abusive relationship, and tell me when this started. So she goes back to a life in Morocco, which the daily duty was to beat her 3 times a day for whatever. So imagine she's going to come into this life and seek out the same familiar pain again.
Some interesting, to me, it's like psychology 1A, kind of, things patterns to watch for, and some remedies for it. If you're not familiar with, with a local hypnotherapist, or call you, there's you can do this in meditation. There's some guided meditation. Let's see, I think Sylvia's got a CD about guided meditations that does ask for things like this to be removed. So, and even record one for yourself. Your voice is supposed to be a very powerful tool as well. Write one out, write out a meditation, read it into a tape recorder, and play it back.
Absolutely. I have an interesting anecdote to share. I was in college and years ago, goodness, and I wanted to try to do a weekly meditation stress relief group using basically meditations from Sylvia, and it was just it sounded like a good idea, and people would riot if I didn't host it every week. Like it was like I would get people banging on my door like, I need the meditation.
Wow.
Oh God. Yeah, it's super, super cool. But anyhow, one thing that I noticed is that just in the process of me talking through like the start of a meditation to like just say like, okay, now visualize that you're in the field and there's the rock in front of you and it represents all your stress and you're knocking it down to size, like, and just in the process of doing that, I actually would get very, very deep into my own hypnotic state, even though I was the one that was talking. And so what that told me is that self-hypnosis is very, very real. It is totally valid. And if you're not sure how to proceed, you can just go to a quiet place in your house or your apartment, and just for 5-10 minutes, talk yourself through meditation. That way you won't fall asleep if you're having a difficult time like staying awake and alert through something.
Yeah.
You can listen to yourself talking, or you can say it out loud, or you can listen to recording. There's also beginner hypnosis tape recordings on YouTube, so you can teach yourself how to be hypnotized, because that's something that some people need to like remember how to do, is like learn how to be hypnotized. So that's absolutely a part of it too. So you can absolutely do this. It's super, super cool, super interesting. But I'd be so deep into the hypnosis, even though I was the one talking, that it was like I was completely removed from my body. It was like having an out-of-body experience by all other metrics. I'm like, this is wild. This is so wild. So
I have my hand raised because
talking. Oh gosh, I didn't even see your hand over there because of the way that my screens are set up.
Oh.
Okay. Oh gosh. All right. I've switched I've layered the windows. Yes.
Okay. Now I'm holding my hand up.
Yes.
I was gonna add some. I wanted to add something to you.
Please.
No worries. Silva Mind Control.
What's that?
Silva. I can't remember the guy's first name, but it's a book that you can search for. A very popular book from back in a while ago. Still in. I don't know if it's still published, but it's still circulating. You can find it. Silva Mind Control Theory. He's the one that was very prominent, promoted self-hypnosis, and has some fun methods of it takes training to do it on your own. Yes, it's a lot easier to have something guiding you through that, but you can work up to doing it on your own and having that
absolutely
maintaining that consciousness while you're going through the self-hypnosis. So it's
absolutely
however it works for you, whatever you're comfortable with.
Cool.
That's
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, very popular.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Anyway, but that was my teacher.
I know my windows are layered. I didn't see your hand. My goodness. Gotcha. Anyway, yeah, I know of a very famous hypnotist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he argued that a form of self-hypnosis is that you have to be in hypnosis every time you walk down a stairs, but not up. I thought that was really interesting. And also, he made an observation that if
physically walking up and downstairs,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
well, there's
you have to like disengage part of your attention in order to do it.
Interesting. Okay.
It's interesting.
But it's an interesting physical metaphor for hypnosis as well.
Oh, that's true. That is true. And also, if you've ever noticed that you've spaced out while doing a task and you completely did the task, like you drove all the way to work and you didn't remember getting there, that's hypnosis. So you know how to be hypnotized, and it's like a part of your mind. It's the opposite of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the meditative practice of being present and being very engaged with the sensation the sensation of
Being
of your
engaged.
physicality,
Alert.
sensation of your body and alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hypnosis is the meditative opposite of mindfulness, and both are helpful parts of the human experience. So some cool things. So you
And
can be
it
hypnotized.
works.
Don't get stressed.
It doesn't have side effects, as best
Right.
of my understanding. Like,
Mhm.
and plus you're in control.
Yes, you are.
You're. It's been shown time and time again. You may have to want to experience it if you really want to experience. You're not going to do something that you wouldn't normally do. So,
Correct. You would just come out of it.
yeah,
You would
you
just
would
come out
pop
of it.
out and go, well, excuse me, that doesn't sound right. So, just fun side notes. No, even if they told you you're going to go hurt somebody, no, if that's not
No,
something
you
you
would
would
just
normally
you would
do,
just come out
you would come out of it. And the
instantly.
the
You'd just be like, no.
the hypnosis shows that you may have seen, those are for entertainment, and they've picked the ringers out of the audience through a form of hypnosis. So they've
Yeah.
if you've ever
People
been to
going
one,
up to cluck like a chicken under hypnosis, those
Yeah.
folks want to cluck like chickens. They're having a great time subconsciously.
right,
Like,
and
you're not making them do something they want to do. Yeah.
right. So anyway, that's why I said those are the ringers. They were selected not pre-show, but during the show. The hypnotist would typically do some form of hypnosis with them, and would the people's reactions demonstrate their susceptibility to doing what he asks. And anyway, that's another
Interesting stuff. Yeah.
fun excitement. We're talking about trances here, and we're getting into all kinds of fun tidbits about hypnosis, and which is helpful too. Fun things
Yeah.
to work with. We just did one. All right.
Yeah, we just did one. I'll say I suppose one comment. So she was just talking about the morphic resonance of like being a woman and having to go through just centuries of dealing with this like really these really
Oppression.
oppressive attitudes, right?
Yeah.
And made like that makes a lot of sense, and I feel like we can see that in like this, the sisters and the friends around us who are struggling to break out of those, and to find themselves, and to feel confident in your voice. And so I definitely feel something similar to that, because I know that I've gone through something
and
like
and
something
the
in that wholeness.
resonance of the male energy saying no, you can't, you're not, and is interesting to hear and watch play out with people throughout society. Oh, that was the point, which is similar to I hope this makes a tie and a connection for people as I wave my hands, hoping that it understands the crisscross of concept, and there's another word for it. Anyway, lifetime after lifetime, you've had things done to you. Yes, you'll tend to carry those things with you, and sometimes we do that as a, we set up several lifetimes of things that challenge us, challenging situations that we learn to be oppressed, but then on that fourth life we come in with that oppression, because that's our lesson is to learn how to get out of that.
Yes.
And similar to why do people experience in their physical body, this isn't my gender, I don't get this isn't fit for me. Why do people feel, I hope I'm saying this right, because it's about acceptance and understanding, and awareness of where I, from this philosophy, where I think this comes from. I feel like I'm a different gender. is because previous lifetimes you've spent time as the other gender. Uh, uh, so it's, and whatever happened in those lifetimes, great. It's just you. Um, Getting back to the analogy, if you've in a lifetime you spent 10 years being a welder and a mechanical put together stuff, and now, great, okay, that's got to stop. There's something preventing you from doing that now. The best thing for you for income, because it's the only thing available to you, is to be a ballerina. Okay, guess what kind of a mind shift you've got there? What you've got certain ways and mentality that you've garnered to make that switch. Well, that's very similar to lifetime after lifetime as a certain gender, and then all of a sudden you come into another life as a different gender. You've chosen that as a lesson, and it is up to you to find out what that lesson is about. But that's um, um, and it comes in various forms. You're the one that gets to discover what's the lesson. What was now again, if you wanted to find out, get a reading from Chris to say, or do a meditation to say, what were my previous lifetimes. Um, what gender was I in previous lifetimes, and oh, okay, maybe that makes some sense for you. So there's different reasons how or why. I mean, I've heard people come back in as a spirit, they're female and they come into a male body. Okay, what predilection are you think you're going to have? But there's also, for instance, an entity could be uh, uh, a male entity but come into a male body but still have a gay predilection because that's the experience they wanted. So there's
Absolutely.
all kinds of ways to fit what your lesson is, what you want. But that's so back to the
We love everybody.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody. Yes. Sherry says a friend of mine said that he feels like he's stuck in his body, but he feels like he should be a woman. Absolutely. A lot of people have a very, very similar experience, and my heart goes out to anybody who feels like they're stuck in a situation like
in
that.
The wrong, yeah, in the wrong
body, I mean, wrong gender is like, I can't imagine how crazy making that must.
Yeah,
it must be.
I'm sure that's a challenge, but it's like, okay, so how do you want to express that? How do you want to? And everybody's showing, not everybody, but people with that challenge are expressing themselves in different ways.
Yes.
Whether it's okay, so some will, and that covers like the spectrum of the LGBTQ plus spectrum, because that what it all comes from, what are you molded into, what have you brought with you, and how do you want to express that. It's going to take some time to unlearn, what society wants you to be, and
Right.
and then
Get it out of here.
relearn what
What
sparks
gives
you. What is your spark? What is your? Sometimes you
what
have
gives
to
your
relearn.
friend joy? Yes.
Yeah,
What
sometimes
gives
you
your
have to
friend joy and
relearn.
authenticity and
Yep.
feels like themselves the most? Absolutely. You can say, like, I don't know if if your friend is, open to these kinds of topics about past lives and whatnot, but you can, I would say, like, hey, everybody has to have like past life experiences of being male and female in order to be balanced. And my heart absolutely goes out to your friend for having been stuck with it in this present life. That's such a drag.
But
No pun intended.
no, the question.
Love your friend though.
Yeah, it might be.
Love your friend though.
If feeling stuck, not knowing, not talking with the person, but what comes to mind of feeling stuck is, there could be a question of, why is this? And just offering suggestions. Well, or are they questioning it? And do the best you can to help them express themselves. That's gonna fit them. Help them understand. Express the feelings. I think that way it will allow them a safe space to express what that feeling is and how what's the next step you want to take. And many people are finding those different avenues for expressing that. So.
Oh, good conversation. Good conversation. Let's see here. If anyone has more questions, please drop them in the comments so we can, continue having our discussions with each other. But otherwise, how do you feel about moving on to the next segment?
Moving on. Okay.
All right. Okay, cool. So next, we're going to hear Francine talk about the reasoning why behind why there's no such thing as ADHD. Allowing for she's going to talk about
I'm just teasing
hot mess teasing me. Oh my goodness.
Go ahead, sorry.
Again, we are not doctors. We're just offering some stuff to think about. Okay. Next, allowing for the differentiation of people. Teaching used to bend to each child's needs. How child prodigies were treated in the past.
Cool.
So that's what we're going to hear about. Yep.
All right. All right. Where's the button I want here? Okay, here we go. Enjoy.
All right, here we go.
So do we go back before the time, cell memory-wise, before that happened, or do we just have that person realize that that's where it's coming from? Not so much to go before that happened.
No, just go. You see, the marvelous thing about the mind, it'll snap right to the point of pain. It'll snap. You say, where did you, and even let's say the person seems to be perfectly without neurosis, if you can find such a person. I don't think it would hurt. It might take maybe 15 minutes longer because you can do brief episodes with this. It releases. Give me a rundown very quickly if you feel that there's any social hindrances in your life. Tell me any place this might have happened. Quickly. All right, so they tell you this episode. All right, now, let's release that. Now, tell me any episode in your life in which you feel that you might have been persecuted or you have no trust for a male, female, depending on who you're doing. Give me the episode. Tell me any place. And, of course, we know the cell memory illness that might be affecting this life. Tell me anything in which you might have had something to do with either poverty or riches that has to do with your financial. Tell me very quickly. And the mind will immediately go to the prominent abscess.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Both you and Raheem have both said that there is no such thing as attention deficit disorder.
No.
Now, that term has been given to a lot of people who were very brilliant and were ahead of their time. And what's going on right now is it's almost, it's like an epidemic, and there's all this hysteria about it. I think it's got something to do
with control.
Well, with what it is, it's like an acceleration or a vibration in us.
No, but you see, if I give you a label of being dyslexic or attention deficit, just listen to the words of what I'm saying. Attention deficit disorder.
Oh, it's a terrible name. The previous one was minimal brain dysfunction.
Well, that's right.
But it was always something to try to control.
That's what I just said.
But it's
a control factor.
But it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. What is it, though?
It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. A person with attention deficit disorder, in the first place, there is no such a thing. See, they're not allowing for anything that has to do with savant. They're not allowing for anything that has to do with people just don't care. Some people don't care about algebra. Some people are there isn't a person in this room that we couldn't say has an attention deficit disorder about something. And you know why? Because they hate it. Sylvia was absolutely abominably stupid in algebra. She did Warren Becker's Latin so he would do her algebra. Not only was she, I shouldn't say stupid about it, she wouldn't learn it, didn't want to learn it, and said she would never use it and refused to do it. Now, in that day and age, she would have been called an attention deficit disorder person. Where another person in this room would have absolutely adored the algebra, the geometry, but would have thrown up with Latin and literary pursuits. And it's because teachers have become so lazy that if you give a child attention deficit disorder, then you don't have to work at teaching them. This is already, you labeled them a dummy. Yes.
I think with this attention deficit disorder, what I noticed when I worked with really intelligent little kids is that teachers are lazy and they've got so many, not all teachers, but they've got 35, 40 kids. And then the parents are working all day because people have been told now you have to have all these things. So people are doing all this work. No one has time for the child, so the child is trying to do something to get attention from their parent, even if
and they're becoming hyper.
Yeah, because they want mom and dad, they want someone to pay attention to them. So the easiest thing to do is just decide this child can't keep, they don't
Can't
have
keep focused.
They can't be focused, so we're just going to drug them up with this drug, and that'll
Ritalin.
keep them. Yeah, they'll just keep them like a
Everyone
robot.
in this room that is of any age of maturity was in a classroom with a kid that couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you, not to keep using Sylvia as an example, but Sylvia's report card read very bright, but seems to need to always want to be up and perform for the class, which I know you find that to be amazing. Cannot keep her mouth shut, cannot sit in her seat, finds that most of her classes are boring. She would have been put on Ritalin if it was this day and age.
Most of us probably would have.
You would have been up, and very rarely, now you all grew up with kids who were out of their seats. Some were a little, what you might call in your vernacular, goofy. Some didn't learn as fast. Nobody paid any attention to it. They all made it. Mm-hmm. We're not allowing in this generation for the differentiation of people. Some people are artistic, some people are more aesthetic, some people have more technocratic minds.
Trying to manufacture people, and if you just drug them up, I saw it on 60 Minutes. These
Robots.
kids that they gave Ritalin, and they were talking I started crying watching these kids. Their personality was gone. They were talking like.
Oh yes, it's a slug thing.
Yeah, and then it was great because then the parents didn't have to.
Not only that, but the teachers don't have to worry about it. They just sit like little robots. And the Ritalin also leads to other stronger use of drugs because anyone in this room could take Ritalin, and it's an upper. You know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an upper. And everything is blamed now on attention deficit disorder. They even have diagnosed you to have that. Ridiculous. Yes.
Following what she's talking about, the school system has what they call basic requirements. And these basic requirements is where this math and all this other thing falls in. So to be, I guess, humane, we would have to go back and readjust the basic requirements that children need in school.
Yes.
And then focus on what they excel in.
Yeah, see, teaching should have been that the teacher, strangely enough, was led by the needs of the child. What's happened is it's turned totally around. The teacher now sets the standards, and she becomes ruler of the land. Instead of bending to each child's needs, and it's not the teacher's fault because, like you say, overcrowding classrooms, parents don't have enough time, people can't sit by kerosene lamp and help their children out at night, or sit in a log cabin like Lincoln did and learn from a book. No, and you can't blame the teachers entirely because they're being pressured by the society that's pushing them on all sides.
But even today, I think those basic requirements are not adequately meeting
They're
the needs
not.
of society.
They're not. What about a child who wants to do pottery? What about a child that loves... They're left out. A child that wants to do dimensional art. The child that is marvelous in piano but doesn't want to do... No, nothing is done with this. And this makes for, then, the compression of the mind, the morphic resonance is stymied. You see, years ago in European countries, and Germany was one of the first and foremost to do the patron of the arts. So anyone who was adept at, let's say, music or art, they would begin to pay them to go to school because it upped the culture of their country. Then Italy followed suit, and England followed suit, and they had patrons. You have no more patrons. The minute a teacher and tutors were probably the most wonderful things for children to have, and home study I have always been for, is that when they saw a child that was beginning to excel, because the mind is so malleable, it's so moldable, and one-on-one is marvelous. But how can a teacher cannot do that? Parents can, but they seem to be too busy. Then the teacher would apply to the state and say, I have a child that is really, really becoming a prodigy in art or music. And then, of course, they were then put in some kind of conservatories and fostered along with their meals, their stipends of how to live, and sometimes they were taken into courtly life. None of that's done anymore.
Two bits?
Fascinating.
I have to get my soapbox, so work on your 2 bits.
Gosh, 2 bits, I know. I can only imagine what kind of tirade we would have listened to if this had been recorded after No Child Left Behind got rolled out. With the amount of testing requirements that we have to, because I was thinking when she said that that it's not the teacher that's following the child anymore. The child has to follow the teacher. And I was thinking to myself, like, teachers can't even do that. Teachers have to follow the government. It's not some government that's running everything in America right now with this whole thing. And it's...
And there's always the argument,
what a mess.
oh, local has more knowledge about what needs to be done. And when that happens, sometimes that makes a mess. And then when the government says, yeah, well, local can't do it, so we're going to talk about it, and they don't know what's going on. So... Yeah, it you get good and bad both directions.
Yeah. Okay, soapbox time. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
So, ADHD, to my view, is a lack of discipline. And where that comes from, so what are they trying to do with the brain? The brain, like she said, and everybody's been talking about it. We've heard this from other conversations, from other trances. What's going on? The kid can't focus. Why not? Emotion is the mover. Why? And talking about following the child, follow the child's emotion. That's going to keep their attention.
That is a good point.
So,
follow the child's emotion.
So ADHD is lack of discipline. The child isn't focused because they're, how are you going to keep their attention? They're bored. And so, yes, it is a challenge. And so the next sort of connection of all this is yoga, from my experience, helps you with, it's yoga at a base level is breathing. You got to focus on the breathing. Each maneuver in the series that I go through, the series of yoga positions, there's the breathing, and you're supposed to be focusing on your breath, because you make a pose and you You inhale and you hold it. When you change and go to the next pose, you go, you release it. And you're supposed to pay attention to that because it's you and focus on the well anyway, it's about focusing your attention. Guess what? That's an exercise. It's a mental exercise. You're exercising focus. So that's a form of helping you focus. Sesame Street helps focus attention and teaches kids basic, basic education. They, it's, yes, they had a lot of um, um, child development for, I don't know the exact terms of the people they use, but yes, they use lots of consultants. They didn't just write up puppet stories and things like that. They used um, um, consultants to say how should we teach children what's going to hold their attention and uh, um, what's funny in a funny sense is they well anyway that's another side note of the Muppets being on Saturday Night Live early on. Some Muppets did end up on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, that's funny.
But Sesame Street does what? It holds their attention and teaches them, says, here's what we can do, and talks about, issues, family issues, and growing up, and feelings, and I'm not sure if yes, they've done the research to say what's going to catch their, catch their attention, and how do you present this information that's going to, keep their attention. So what's the right word? Oh, yeah. So attention, there's the self-soothing, learning to self-soothe yourself, take a minute, asking the child to, if you're upset, take a minute and go have a seat over there until you're done with that. Let them, get it out. Um, um, yes, it's a challenge. Yes, but it's helping them help themselves. So anyway, it's I could say more, but that's I'd be just like saying stuff over again. But that's my uh, um, ADHD, and it's just unfortunately to me it's poor discipline. And so great. How do you fix that? Find tools to address the how do you give yourself self-discipline? It takes practice.
Yeah, and we've also heard some other comments that it seems like ADHD can be mistaken for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she's mentioned like it's often mistaken when it's often mistaken when it's actually depression. Is something that I've talked about before. Is that there's a lot of research saying like that the presentation for ADHD in kids is very, very similar to the presentation for PTSD. When a child is anxious and just feeling because if a kid is anxious,
Right.
they can't sit down. And what's that going to look like? Like, oh, I can't focus. Well, what's going on with the kid? Kid's anxious. All right.
Disruption in the family and
yeah,
it's like it's very similar to a pet. and for me it's easy to see it in dogs. When the family members never let the dog settle down because the dog's always on alert mode, who's on the end of the leash pulling the leash taut, letting that dog hang out on the leash with it full taut, and if the dog's taking you for a walk, that's not the way, proper way to walk a dog.
sure.
Yeah. And they're not relaxed. They're like, full on. They're not self-soothing. They're not settled. They're not relaxing. They're on like full board, go ahead anxiety, and which, that's what your child, and of course they're not paying attention to you again. And very similar to the anxiety in a child.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, looking at the comments. Kristen says, I am so with Francine. Yeah. Ramona says, hi, everyone. Great to see you. And yeah, and so just having some nice chats with folks saying hi to each other. So yeah, if anyone has any of their own experiences to share, we'd love to hear them. But otherwise, I think maybe we could go on to our last segment.
Okay.
All right, cool. So we're going to finish off with how to help children born to addicted parents. So be patient and teach these children with one-on-one attention. Francine's commentary about Ritalin. A little bit of a bad drug still hurts you. Okay.
So, I'm sorry, but not to make too much light. I mean, it's the popular thing now is microdosing, and some people like hallucinogenics, and other people like other kinds of things, and it's like, oh, okay, interesting. Even though there's ways that we can do it without the medication. Oh,
yeah,
that's my cue.
All right, sounds good.
Could
have anyway. Here we go.
Diminishing the beauty, and actually they're ruling out mostly anything that has to do with arts. Mm-hmm. Not that I believe that women should just do applique work, but women have now lost some of that beauty. You don't see seamstresses anymore. You don't see people who make beading and beautiful needlepoint and appliques and crochet. And it's not because it's not still a beautiful way to do, but it's gone. It's gone. Probably the only culture that seems to still hold on to that at all are, here we go with that terrible word, the primitive cultures. Mm-hmm. And the primitive cultures still do the gorgeous woodworking, the beading, the carvings, the potteries. They do beautiful work. And look at your Asian culture. Even their, let's call it for lack of a better word, their calligraphy or their writing in itself is an art. It's beautiful. The sweeping movement of their letters. Your letters are ugly. They're thick and angular and pointy. So there's nothing even beautiful about your letters are not pretty. Yes.
What can we do about children who are born of addictive parents and alcoholic parents? 'Cause, in my case, I have a child whose mother was addictive and probably still is. And the counselors and the child study team are directing him towards a doctor and hoping that he'll be put on Ritalin to help the mother and the school. It's not going to help the mother and it's not going to help the child. What avenue can we use besides Ritalin?
Patience and time, and eventually using the tutor system. Taking the child one-on-one. But you see, you don't have the... See, you're asking for...
I can do that, but everybody else on the whole team wants a fix-it. They want to use Ritalin as a fix-it for every child.
But you see, I know what you're saying, and you're trying to fight City Hall, and you're not going to see it swing back until this end of this continent fall off is when you're going to see it happen. That we go back to the let's call it ancient ways of simplicity, where we have home teaching and the beautiful things of art and beauty and homemade things and things that are, that's the only way. You're not, that's why the shelf has to fall off, because it needs to be rinsed.
A lot of these children are just trying to survive. If you're hit when you're at home, you're going to run away.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And Ritalin is not going to solve the cause of the problem.
What I'd like to do is have the teachers take it and see how that affects them.
Or the doctors who prescribe it.
Yes, I don't think Sylvia has always said she's never ever told anyone to take something she didn't take it first. I think that should be the maximum for anybody else. She's always figured out if it kills her, she won't be able to give it to anybody else. I think that anything that should be recommended should be taken first by the person. In other words, if they think that sumac should be taken, then let them take it. It's poison, so let them take it first.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can't fight City Hall. You can be a little voice or a big voice that cries in the wilderness, but you're not going to have any effect. What I'm saying is, at least maybe get the child aside and pump the child up as much as you can with all of the stuff that you're having to fight. Tell the child that they're wonderful, that they're precious, that they can excel. Because even a child, even if they give them the stamp, see, the problem is you don't even have a mother fighting here. You don't have a mother fighting. See, that's what we've got to do, is we've got to get the backbone of the mothers up to fight. Because the mothers or the fathers are the ones that can go and fight. And enough of them fight, they'll turn it around. But they don't care. They're latchkey people.
They want fixes, quick fixes, get the kid.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like she said, level them off, have a room full of robots that are very quiet, and scribble on a piece of paper and don't cause any problems. Busy work.
Okay.
Yes.
Ritalin is just like Dexedrine, and I was on Dexedrine for the last 10 months, and I detoxed off of it last month. And what I realized it did is it broke the connection between my body and my soul.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize until I was off of it. That's why it makes you quiet and behave.
Yes, yes.
Because it's all, you're gone. You're not,
Yes, you're not there.
You're not
No.
connected to yourself anymore.
No, but that's what most drugs do. See, that's why it's so, and I seem to be such a fanatic about it, but that's why because it creates a disconnect. I mean, it creates a disconnect from the limbic brain, the actual physical limbic brain, to the soul, to your thoughts that are in process. That's why I'm so against cocaine or some of those other substance abuse, because people say, oh, a little this and a little that won't hurt me.
But
Yes,
this
it
isn't
does.
abuse. This is actually prescribed by the medical
Oh, sure.
profession.
But do you
And
know
then
how
they give
many
these
people?
antidepressants for depression and
Do you know how many people are prescription drug addicts?
I had 5 different prescriptions in my medicine chest, and I told my psychiatrist that, how does it feel? You turned me into a prescription drug addict. And I didn't even tell him. I went off of everything. And I'm off of all of it.
Yeah, I'm so
And I
proud.
feel a lot better.
Yes, yes, proud of you. Oh, doctors are sometimes the worst. They're the worst to prescribe,
So,
because they want you to shut up and be quiet and go away.
so we have 15 years till we get this cleansing. How do we hang on in the meantime? I mean, whenever I start really freaking out about it, going back to like Atlantis, which is what I start to feel, I immediately go back to a Celtic life where it was simple, because that's the only thing I can do, because it's getting really
But that's why you're all here now, because the only reason you're here now, even though it is scary and it can be, as you say, freaky, is the reason why you all migrated to this place was to help as many as you can, because this is the freakiest of places. And so the only reason that you would be here as any of you as savior people, and I think that's why Sylvia gets so discouraged, because she makes these havens for people to come to. And nobody's coming. I mean, they're coming to Seattle, they're coming to Anaheim, they're raging about New York, and the very place in which she is, they're not coming. And I think that's very discouraging to her.
I got no 2 bits.
I think that it was really nice to hear her say and clarify that even a little bit of a bad drug is still bad. It still can hurt people. Because addiction is Addiction is really, really difficult. If you have any questions about addiction and some of Raheem's and Francine's suggestions for ways to help heal addiction and get off of it, Journey of Souls 3 has some helpful tips that are worth looking at. So I definitely encourage people to go in that direction. And
another point
yeah.
too, that we've heard some complaints about doctors, abusing the medicines, or not being very talking down about doctors, but find a different doctor. If it's not working
Yes.
for you, find a different doctor that's going to work with you.
Yes. Yeah, find someone that you trust and who listens to you, and who isn't, doesn't feel like they're just like heaping things on for you to try and like, here, let's have more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. It's usually it's like, what is the minimum amount of things that we need for you to, be living your best life? So that's just, I don't know, it's just an idea to keep in mind when you're looking for someone. I really, really love my my doctors, and it took some time to find some good ones. So, but I trust them, and they listen. And if I say I don't really know how I feel about this suggestion, I don't think I want to go in that direction, they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. So
they're there.
It's a collaboration.
Yeah,
should be a collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, they're the ones that understand, have learned about poor interactions and things that could conflict with themselves, and help give us guidance. And but yeah, we got to take responsibility.
We do have to take responsibility. That's something that I've had to work on myself, is to take responsibility for my diet, take responsibility for my health. Like, one of the biggest lessons that I had charted for myself with endometriosis was I realized that I had been in this pattern my entire life of just accepting bad news when people gave it to me. Saying like, if someone said nothing can be done, then I would just accept it, and I'd be very passive. I was too passive. I was way too passive, and I wasn't advocating for myself. Even when I would try to be, go back to find a different doctor, or to go to class and say I'm not feeling well or something like that, I would just accept it. And so then I realized, and then the lesson was over once I realized, wait a second, I have to, the word no belongs to me too. People are telling me no, and they're taking away like all my power and stuff. This is like, no, this entire thing has to stop. I have to fight for myself. And so once I started fighting, and I made this realization that I'd gone my whole life without fighting and taking more responsibility and really claiming it and embracing it, then suddenly the endometriosis solutions were there, and I had the right surgeon, and I had somebody tell me like, hey, this is the right doctor. I heard about this, like, just like everything, boom, 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 boom. And just a couple months later, it was all done. Done and over with.
Fun.
Done and over with. And but internally, I figured out what the lesson was, and then it was done. So it's a beautiful thing to take responsibility. It could be scary, but you can do it.
Yeah.
You can fight for yourself. It's okay. You are worth it. You are worth fighting for. So.
Fun example.
Absolutely.
Fun story. Where are we? That was the last one.
I think we are in.
Any comments hiding in there?
Yes. Yes. Miss LJ says, "Plus, listen to your body. Research, and understand your body." Absolutely. Yeah. And definitely, education is the key. DV says, I'm sure Sylvia is happy that we meet here every week. Thank you both for all that you do. Oh, you're so sweet. You're very, very, very welcome. Jill says, happy birthday, fellow Scorpion. Mine was on the 1st. High five. Woo-hoo. Happy birthday. Here's to another good year. And And then some other folks were talking about Mr. Rogers, and Naomi says
Bingo.
Mr. Rogers was going to be a pastor. He was a very good, godly man. Yeah, I wonder if he was like a pilgrim. Do you remember the two different types of Nuvawites of mission life entities? There was pilgrims, and it'll come back to me. But there was two different subtypes. So I bet I have a feeling he might have been one of those. Or maybe he was a mystical traveler. Who knows? Such a kind person. And Naomi says Mr. Rogers did a lot for advocating for children to learn, the way that they're going to learn. He did a speech on YouTube to ask for funding for children's TV education. Yeah, it's cool. All right, thank you so much for all of your. Oh, D says pioneers. There's pilgrims and pioneers.
Oh,
the two different types of mission life entities. Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I'll have to go look it up and report back next week. Or if anyone knows where to find it, I'd appreciate you. All right. Maybe it's meditation time?
Okay. For those of you that want to participate in the meditation, we encourage you to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful grace. And for those of you that need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us, but by all means come back and listen to these wonderful meditations on demand. And for everyone else, we get to enjoy meditation by Sylvia.
Find a comfortable position, sitting in a chair, with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and the body. Now, when you are ready, close your eyes.
Three circles of infinity. See yourself walking now through a beautiful silver tube. As you walk, the most marvelous things happen. It's almost as if the tube vibrates sparkles of light. Elated, you begin to skip a little bit, amazed at these silver sparkles that seem to purify you as each enters your soul. At the tunnel's end is a light in the shape of a beautiful cross. The light emanates gold. In front of you are 3 golden circles that represent your total, infinite, God-centered self. One is God the Father, another is a mother, and the third is your own divine consciousness. You join the circle with the divinities and feel yourself part of the golden loop that is intertwined and linked. Now as you pass through the golden tube, feel your guides become present on either side of you. Right in front of you stands a gigantic amethyst crystal. Go over and touch it. The purple light resonates in your soul. Touch and feel it. Ask it to send any message it may have for you. Ask for forgiveness. But not from God. Ask that you be able to forgive yourself. Ask for the ego to be slain like the dragon that it is. Invite your truest I am to come forward. It will. And slay the dragons of illness and hurt and despair and grief. Feel your relaxation. Breathe in the purple glow, as well as an emerald glow from another gem nearby. You can visit this beautiful vision many times and carry it with you. Bring yourself back through this silver tube of light, carrying the amethyst, and emerald glows with you.
Now, on the count of 3, come all the way back to full alertness. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Is that a word? Alertness?
I think so.
Think so? All right. We'll agree.
So. Perfect.
And getting back to the lesson of attention deficit disorder, if you're me, when I'm going through that meditation, there's the white tunnel. That white tunnel was like a roller coaster ride. I'm like, hello. I don't think I'm pretty quiet very much with that. My mind's like making this tunnel and doesn't want to, hey, let's make something nice and neat. And no, so that's a reminder. Don't drink coffee before you do a meditation. And before your hypnosis session, remember no caffeine or things of that nature. So it'll help quiet your mind, and you may want to do some exercise or something to help expel some energy that'll give you how do you say, so your mind's not like all over the place. That'll help give clarity as well, so you can focus.
Good tips. Very, very good tips.
If you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to kat@novus.org or tom@novus.org. And of course, we like to show appreciation for we appreciate listeners. So both live and on demand, show your appreciation to New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, and subscribing. I hope you rung the bell. Check out our websites, novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, chrisrightnow.com. Yes, Facebook. They're getting easier. I happened to do something fun today that's going to show up on Friday for work. So anyway, I'm a little more happy. But Society of Novus Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, New Spirit Radio Show, and of course many study groups are on Facebook for your participation. You'll find us on YouTube at Society of Novus Spiritus, as well as Chris Dufresne is on Psychic Awareness. And yes, he's been posting live Q&As on occasion, so check those out. If you want to donate and get something in return, start a study group. You'll learn more about our philosophy, and you'll get a monthly Sunday service CD, as well as the newsletter in the process. Let's see, if you want to get something, if you want to get something and donate, get on Amazon Smile and tell them you want your contributions to go to the Society of Novus Spiritus. Church services, yes, you can watch Sunday service on Facebook and YouTube. I just did a post recently. That's where I was really frustrated with Facebook. That's another story. But it got out, so that's all that's important at this time. So I hope people are enjoying that. Yes, I've got some been showing some older classics of Larry and Sylvia. If you want to participate in a special Sunday Zoom service with Reverend Ellen Schloss, put your email in the on the website, and you'll get an announcement email as well as an invitation to participate that. And for those of you that want to participate in our special prayer service, now's the novena. How this works for new people, we're all going to say together, so it doesn't matter when you're hearing this, where you are. You just got to visualize that we're all together in a big room or outside, however you want to visualize all of us. But we're all holding hands in a big, huge circle, and we're all saying this at the same time. So the phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, we're going to say that I'll lead, and everybody can say it along with me. We'll all say it together, so it doesn't matter when, how, where. But we're all going to participate by holding hands with each other. If you're in a group, hold hands with each other, and then the two on the end, we all visualize we're all together in a big loop, holding hands together. So here we go. We'll get started. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things, think of things for yourself. We'll take a moment here. Okay. We're going to say it 2 more times, and I'll let you know after each one what we're going to ask for. So again, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking the spiritual knowledge, and we get to share with them. So, let's see. Then now, think about what you are appreciative for. What things happen for you. We know at the beginning, people had shared about some fun ways that they've used Novus philosophy. But take a moment and think about what you're appreciative of, and then show your appreciation to Francine and Raheem for researching all this wonderful knowledge. Sylvia for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. And Asna for helping us and protecting us. Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. And of course, Bob Ingold for helping with some of the graphics and participating with the music. Music, well, audio, what we've got, what we listen to. Sammy and Javon for our wonderful intro, outro music. For the show, writing, setup, hosting is MIT Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now we got a prayer from Sylvia. If I can find it. Where'd I hide it? I got so many under my nose here. Okay. Prayer by Sylvia.
Prayer to parents and teachers. Please encourage your children to be open to the fact that God is ever present. Mother God is a protector, and Father God is steadfast, static, and unmovable. Encourage them to surround themselves with the white light as well as walking with the light of Christ. In this day and age of horrible happenings, our children must not only be given our protection, but must be aware of a higher power and God's omnipotent love. If they have this to carry as a torch, it will light their way in a dark world. God bless and protect the children. Amen.
And Kat's going to tell us.
I am grateful for every single person who listens. Love you so much, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
For so long we haven't
Thanks for the birthday wishes.
you, as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who you are. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. much